Hello again. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and the Best Boss Bootcamp, in part 5 of our small bite-sized video series on leading and managing change. So you remember at our last video, we talked about what it was to bring people on board with change and what you can expect. And you can generally expect that people will divide up into 4 different ways of thinking about change, either early adopter, pragmatists, conservatives, or laggards. And where you want to put your attention, where is it? On the early adopters and the pragmatists. Get them on board with the change, work with them, and they will help be your ambassadors to bring the conservatives and the laggards along with change. Most people make the opposite mistake, and they concentrate on the people who are giving them the most resistance, and that's just a futile effort in a lot of ways. Concentrate on the folks where you've already got their interests. They're interested in working with you. They believe in the change. They will help propel the change and push it throughout your team, throughout your organization, throughout your family too. Think about this in terms of family changes that you may be leading. So now let's move into the last piece of what it takes to lead and manage change. And we're going to talk specifically about 5 different levels of what you can expect from yourself if you're leading a change effort in your organization and in your team. And with each of these 5 different pieces, I want you to rate yourself 1 to 5. 1 being, I don't do this at all. 5 being, I do this all the time. I couldn't possibly do it anymore. And see where you come out on that between 1 and 5. The first is this idea of the importance of modeling the change. No matter what the change is, whether it's positive or negative, but especially with negative, challenging changes that you're instituting, again, in your organization or your team, how do you live that? How do you walk the talk? How do you show that to the folks that you're supervising, that you are a part of the change, you're supporting the change, you're not just paying lip service to it, but it's actually part of how you've baked it into the work that you do or the life that you lead. So again, think about it for yourself, 1 to 5. How do you, when you're thinking about how you're leading a change effort right now or how you've done that in the past, how much do you buy into and really get into modeling the change? Don't worry if you're at 1, 2, or 3, that's fine, but we want you to be honest with yourself. And I'll tell you what those scores mean in just a second. The second level of leading change efforts is communicating about the change. So how thoroughly do you communicate the change? And I don't just mean that you push out a message once or twice. Actually, the kind of the best practice around communicating change is something I call the rule of 6, meaning when you're communicating around what needs to happen for a change, especially the critical pieces of that, think about how you can deliver that same message 6 different ways. That's right, 6 different ways. So for instance, you may say it to the folks that you supervise. You may email it in a separate email, perhaps a newsletter or something along those lines. What other ways can you communicate that change? Well, putting up posters throughout your office or even in the restrooms. Those are ways of communicating the change and bringing some reality to it. Another way is to do a town hall meeting where you're actually delivering it electronically. Another way is to do it through different parts of your organization, so having the message delivered by other people. But think about 6 different ways you can deliver each of those critical messages. Leaders oftentimes make the mistake of pushing out a message once or twice and not understanding why it doesn't hit home for folks. And there's a whole variety of reasons, including learning styles, but it's also just people's ability to absorb the change. The third level is involving others in the change. How much do you bring people into that change to help you and support you? Do you have a task group, a committee that's working with you on that? Those are really important things, is to have folks that are a part of the change process with you. Not just to take on the dirty work, but are actually part of the process of instituting the change. Again, 1 to 5, how would you score yourself? 4th is helping others break from the past. What are the events, the rituals, the verbiage that you put behind appreciating that people, remember we talked about how something needs to die in order for something else to live. So how do you honor that? How do you, I often talk, when you're ending a relationship, when you're a teenager and you're ending it with your boyfriend and your girlfriend or your girlfriend, and you take that picture as much as it hurts and you burn it. that's a ritual for acknowledging what goes on with the end of a change. So how are you burning your boyfriend or girlfriend's picture in the change efforts that you're leading? How do you ritualize that? How do you honor that, helping people break from the past? And then lastly is, how do you create a supporting learning environment? How much are you doing that? How much are you creating context so that people can engage with the change effort in a way that leverages their curiosity and their wanting to learn more about it? So those are the 5 levels. Score yourself 1 to 5 on each of those. And I would say if you are hitting a 3, 2, or a 1 on any one of those, that's where you need to concentrate. If you're hitting a 4 or 5 on most of these, you're doing a great job. But a 3, 2, or 1 is where you want to concentrate. And that finishes up our 5 module series, our 5 video series on leading and managing change efforts. I'm Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting. I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know if there's anything, any kind of reactions or responses to how we've talked about leading and managing change. And of course, if I can work with you in your own change process, your own appreciation, your own ability to lead and manage change, please let me know. Danny Ceballos, Unleashed Consulting and the Best Boss Bootcamp, and I hope to see you around real soon.